Hello, and welcome back to the Pin Podcast. The Pin Podcast is a place where we talk about modern topics with a vintage flair. I'm your host of PinUp Miami, and if it's your first time clicking on this podcast or video, if you're listening to us on YouTube, welcome. I hope you stay and enjoy what we have to offer here. And if you're a returning listener, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support, all the messages I've gotten. If you didn't know, you could reach out to me on my hotline at 1-833-48-PINUP. Questions for a guest, or if you want to be a guest on the show, anything is greatly appreciated. Even to say hi, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Feliz Navidad. And you can check us out at the Pin Podcast official on Instagram or my Instagram, PinUp Miami. And today's episode is sponsored by Arteluna Miami. She is an artist based here in South Florida. She does these really bright artworks. And it's so funny because I actually seen her artwork when I went to college at UF. There was this gator portrait that I loved. And she's actually the artist of it. So it was really cool that years later I found out it's her. So she's actually doing custom earrings, purses, a lot of the fascinators I wear she has made. So make sure to check her out at Arteluna Miami on Instagram or artelunamiami.com, and I'll put her link down below. Now, today is the week of Christmas, and we all need something positive in life. And I have to say that these are very hard times, and I feel like we all push through it in our own way. So today I have somebody that I follow online and that I've asked to be a guest on this show, Krystal. She's an actress, a singer. She does a little bit of everything. She's into vintage. She's super cute. Her name is Krystal Millie. I'll also have her information below. Welcome. Tell us about your acting and singing. What you're about.
Sure, absolutely. Well, yeah, am a professional actor for the past 7 years. I went to college for it and then graduated 7 years ago. And I've made, thankfully, even during this pandemic, all of my income through acting, which is so wonderful. It's my livelihood and it's my passion. But yeah, this year kicked my butt. I started a theater company with 4 friends. They do more of the leadership roles. I'm company manager for New City Players, and it's something I'm really proud of. And I just love being part of her community, and I love seeing how, I guess before this year, I loved exploring like what the possibilities were. But I have hope. Maybe I can keep kind of pushing some boundaries, and I feel like I've tried to make the best of this year for sure. But I love vintage stuff. I collect mainly 50s and 60s, and it makes me so happy. And if I was better at my hair like you, I'd definitely do more 50s looks.
Is your acting, your company, is it all types of acting, or is it like, I don't know if there's different types of acting. I don't know, the genre, I mean.
Well, so New City Players is a theater company in Fort Lauderdale primarily. And we actually did an audio play, which is really cool, called Little Montgomery during this, I guess, crazy year. So primarily we just do plays without music, usually. We would like to do a musical somewhere along the line, but definitely our mission statement is I love musicals. They're so cute, but I don't know. They're not like, for the most part, going into like the hard, gritty parts of humanity. And we tend to want to do straight plays that have won Pulitzers that maybe haven't been done down here very often and give that exposure. So it's kind of like theater education. And the whole goal is to like transform our audience through our art, like through theater, which is really lovely. I think I've been in the theater and cried my eyes out and realized something about myself, or understood someone that I didn't really understand that much before. And now more than ever, I think it's just such a wonderful thing that we need. It's just empathy and humanity, compassion.
How about operas? That's how I feel when I watch an opera. It's very emotion.
I've only seen one opera in my life. It's called Turandot. No, I've only been to the opera once, and I was so like, I felt like I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know what I was going into. I didn't know that I'd be like reading subtitles the whole time and trying to understand the plot and like 5 acts, like a Shakespeare play. And it was so cool. I'd love to go to one some other time whenever that starts up again too.
I'll go with you.
Yay! I'd love that.
I felt like it was a telenovela playing out in front of you, but more dramatic. And I never thought there'd be anything more dramatic than a telenovela. That's what
I didn't either. Oh my gosh, I didn't either. Also, speaking of like dramatic telenovelas, I grew up with my grandma, like specifically, like that was my introduction to most just TV and film. It was just watching novelas at my grandma's. And I can't imagine something being more dramatic than a telenovela. I can't. So I'm ready to go to the opera. I'm ready. We'll be munching on our popcorn like, oh my God, can you believe? I did a tour once at the Adrian Arch Center in both houses, the ballet house and the other one. And they are like literally built acoustically so beautifully. Like there's even like a big space in between what you think, like the wall you see and the outdoor wall, to create this like beautiful sound, to get the voices to project, to get the instruments to like reach the back of the house. So it's so amazing. It's like, and you also have to have like power lungs. I can't imagine. Opera singers are probably like killing it just singing like that. So I guess not loudly, but passionately, I guess. I don't know. I'm just not very cultured in opera. I just was really honestly overwhelmed when I went. I was like, God, how do I follow this plot?
How did you get one of my viewers on Instagram asked, when did you find out you were good in music?
I still don't feel like I'm good at music, but I started playing the violin when I was 4.5. You know, they get your kids to do that. And I actually became really passionate about it, and it was my main thing. So I was in orchestra up until orchestra wasn't available in my public school anymore. So when I went to high school, they didn't have it anymore. And I always wanted to act, and I did I was scared of the drama kids. I felt like they were so much. So I would do acting camps during the summer, but I was too shy to act in front of my classmates. So that's how I started with like music. Was just that was what I loved. That was my thing for a very long time. And acting was my thing when I was like 7 and I was watching Lizzie Mcguire.
I love Lizzie Mcguire.
Yeah, me too. And like my mom tells me that when I was a little girl, she was like amazed because I would just watch The Little Mermaid and Anastasia over and over again and just learn all the words and recite them. So when she'd walk into the living room one day, she was just like really surprised because all of a sudden I was just reciting a 2-hour-long movie. But yeah, musically, I just started with the violin, and my uncle taught me the guitar when I was like, I don't know, 7. And I've just kind of been doing the thing. Yeah.
And you play guitar, violin, anything else?
Yeah. So
you play guitar, violin,
and the ukulele. So my life just kind of threw me into the ukulele, which is supposed to be easier. I mean, it is easier than the guitar technically, and the violin. But I work for the Miami Children's Museum, and I write songs for little kids there. And kids love ukuleles. So my boss, who's lovely, Bree, she plays. And then me and my friend Robert, we started learning. And now it's like one of my main instruments, I'd say. The guitar and the uke. I kind of abandoned the violin.
You know, it's so funny because the violin is my favorite instrument, and I hope to play it one day. It's on my bucket list.
Oh, you should take classes. I have friends.
And I'll come to you. Well, do you still?
I still play, but I'm not very good. I feel like I'm not very good. I got hired for a play, to play the violin, like 3 years ago, and I was surprised just how rusty I was because I had sold my violin out of just like, I graduated college, I need money, and I regret it so much. So like 5 years, 6 years of not playing, I was like, what am I doing?
I'm going to hit you up for that, to learn friends that know so they could teach me.
Mm-hmm. I got you, girl.
Now, another question that somebody asked me online was, what is your singing style and how did you find out your style? I don't know. Do you have a singing style? I guess that's the question they're asking.
Yeah, I feel like I do. So my whole life, I've been really self-conscious about my voice, and I love singing and would never feel comfortable singing in front of people just because I have a weird little voice. I sound like a smoking Disney princess. So I was like, okay, how can I do what I enjoy doing? Like, that's an art form that I love. And I've taken lessons and I just land naturally in I guess a jazzy, folksy kind of place. Like, I don't have a power voice for opera that could just sing to the back of a house. I can act to the back of a house, but I can't sing to the back of a house to save my life. But also with the instruments that I play, specifically folk music complements that really well. I would love to do more jazz, but I'm just trying to figure out how I can get some piano lessons and get that going. But yeah, so I guess that's my vocal style.
And then what got you into acting?
Lizzie Mcguire. Well, sort of. I don't want to say it's Lizzie McGuire. She was I saw Meryl Streep and she changed my life. Or Philip Seymour Hoffman was this amazing role. And I was I want to be that. But no, I was a little girl and I was learning, like I said, all the lines to all my favorite movies. And Lizzie McGuire came out. I was 7. And I was in PE and I started directing the episodes. I'd cast them and start directing them and be you're going to be this character and you're going to be this character. And I'll be Lizzie today. Everybody want to be Lizzie. I'll be Lizzie today. But next week's episode, you can definitely be Lizzie. I'll just sit back. I'd put on these productions instead of exercising in PE.
That's good. At least you entertained the whole crowd because I'm sure all the girls loved Lizzie McGuire back then.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. And the boys didn't like to admit it, but when I'd start, they'd be I want to be Gordo. I want to be Gordo. And I was okay, great. You want to act? Cool.
All the guys want to front first and then they want to be hey, I'll be in it.
Exactly. They're oh, look at the girls. They're so dumb. And then they flocked over.
So tell me about the latest single that you took out, Ayúdame. What inspired that song?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been trapped in quarantine and I've been kind of looking at my life and the path that I've taken and what's built me as an artist, why I do what I do. And musically, some of my greatest influences and some of my best childhood memories are music that's in Spanish. So specifically Buenavista Social Club and Celia, obviously. I was how can I incorporate that in my folksy kind of stuff that I usually do? So I started messing around and my dad gave me his clave. And I got a little drum from the Children's Museum. And I just started messing around and I just looped a beat. And from that, I made a song, Ayúdame. So it's kind of a marriage of I'm Cuban. My whole family is Cuban. And then I was born here. Of course, they had these big hopes and dreams. I decided to be an actor for a living, but I think I'm making them proud. I really genuinely think that now they're wow, look at her go, which is good. But I know there was some hesitancy in college. They're really? But yeah, so I wanted to see how I could create something that just felt like me, if that makes any sense. I don't feel like I get to hear a lot of things that make me feel seen and whole. So I just wanted to create it.
Oh, and I didn't know that you did the beats too. Do you do all the beats to your song?
Oh, for most of them, yes. But then I take them to my cool friend, Bradley, and he just zhuzhes them. So he adds ambiance under them, or he'll add a wah, 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 or something. And he tends to work some little beats into, and I really appreciate that because again, I'm a stringed instrument person. So I need him. I literally need him. But for Ayúdame, the shell of it was just me, and then I sent it out, and then that's it.
And then the music videos, do you also, like your Lizzie Mcguire moments, do you put it all together and pick everyone and then have a video person and and you have everything set up?
Sort of, yeah. So quarantine has made me realize, like, tap back into this, like, create your own work kind of a drive that I've, I guess, had my whole life. But thankfully, I was so busy doing plays, doing what I love, that I didn't have a lot of time to like create stuff because I was busy saying the words other people created. So yeah, I don't know, this year has lit a little fire under my butt to create, and I have a lot of wonderful friends that are so talented. So I literally, for the Dear John shoot, I was like, that song is about Abigail Williams and The Crucible. And it's just like a famous play. And it's just a dream role of mine. So I was like, I want like a witchy video. I don't know how I'm going to pull it off. So I found a location and I called to my friends. I was like, start quarantining right now. And we'll be masked the whole time except when we're twirling around a fire. And I contacted my friend that just started a film company, like a producing company called Magic City Media. And he helped me out tons. He's like, yeah, sure, let's do it, whatever. And I talked to my neighbor in Hialeah. There's a bunch of vintage cars, which I love. So yeah, I just reached out to all these people that I know. I was like, do you want to make something? They said yes, and we made it. And the same thing happened with Ayúdame. The dancer in that video is my college dance teacher.
Oh, so it's amazing because, okay, so tell us your story or a quick synopsis of you in the beginning of, because it seems like quarantine got like your creativity going. So how was it in the beginning? Because I know you got married like a month before quarantine, and then just walk me through your phase of like your high and I mean, your low and then your high. It seems like that's what happened. So just talk us through it.
Sure. Oh my God. Oh my God, what a year. So, I started the year off surfing in Costa Rica with my best friends for my bachelorette party. And I was in a film, Pompano Boy, that like a small role in that my friend made with One County Films. And I did the biggest contract theatrically that I've gotten so far. I joined the Actors Union. I did all these big things. I made awesome friends. My roommates were amazing. I even made a friend like from New York, Emma. Like it was just such a great, like it was a high. I literally got married to like the cutest human being in the world. And then I moved away a day after the wedding to do my contract to do that big play. I come home, like he visited me maybe twice. I come home finally. It's like March, I don't know, 8th or 9th or something. And 3 days later, there's the government shutdown. And I'm just trapped at home. And we thought we were going to go on a honeymoon. I thought I was going to do 2 other plays I'd been contracted for, which is a story of like basically every artist friend that I have. It's just everything just kind of hit a horrible standstill. Like, life really had built all this momentum and then it just stopped. So it was really sad. And at the beginning of quarantine, I don't know any of my neighbors still because we moved in like during this pandemic. But, I was like getting drunk on my lawn while tanning and trying to figure out what to do. And like, I'd take my record player outside and I was at a loss. And thankfully I was still working for the museum, but it was really hard to be like, how do I cope with this? And I think through the chaos and the stress, I was like, my only way of staying sane is just making stuff, whether it's what people want or what they don't want. So I wrote a one-woman show. This was like early on. And then I realized, theater's not coming back for a really long time. But at least I have a draft of that for whenever it does, But like I did that and then I started just playing my instruments again out of like loneliness and sadness because Ian started going back to work and stuff. And I started writing songs like crazy, and I'd mainly write them like in the middle of the night. I don't know. I just couldn't sleep. I'd be sad and I'd write whatever I was kind of feeling at that time. Or thinking back to like when I had the opportunity to miss my husband, because now we're together all the time, sort of, like we were both at one point working in separate rooms constantly for like 4 months. He's a teacher, so now he's like back in school, and I'm back to being lonely, but I'm also back to creating a ton. So yeah, that's what quarantine kind of did to me. It's been weird. I didn't think I would end up writing and like writing music and getting it produced. I just didn't think that would be something I ever did, but here I am.
I just love how you took it into like, I just love how you made something out of it. There's a lot of people that just would stay in that, sad, lonely part. But I love that you looked at the positive. And I mean, not that it was positive at the time that you were thinking of it, but, just trying to create and getting out of your mindscape of just being alone. So I really do admire that.
Oh, thank you so much. How have you been dealing with quarantine and the like ups and downs? Because sometimes I'm really sad, and I've been like vulnerable on social media, which is like really weird to be like, "Hi, I'm sad," but like I need human interaction,
Well, for me, it's been really sad because I love doing the events, going out there. Everything I did was putting things together, and I had big plans this year. I was going to travel with it. I had events that I was hosting out of the state. So I've been really sad on my job. I do have a job, but it's become toxic. They don't even wear their mask, and they don't believe in this quarantine. And it's been really sad. I'm still dealing with it, but I try to look into the positive, and that's why I started this podcast, because I missed the world that I was trying to like bring people together in. So I'm trying to do it virtually.
No. Well, you know what though? You are.
But like you, I'm trying to stay positive and I've been really
great. You're connecting us all, like honestly, through the PinUp South Florida community, because I never got to go to the events because I was thankfully busy with things that I devoted my life to. But now it's like I genuinely get to feel like I'm part of this community. Like I've never had that before, and I've always wanted to be part of it. You even like I got a Christmas gift today from my Secret Santa for the PinUp, and I just like those little things. I think give you a sense of community, even though we're forced to be apart from each other. If that makes any sense. So even though we're not physically together. Yeah, you alone are making community happen. And it's just so beautiful. It's like, it's just something to look forward to do. Being like, I'm going to wear a cute dress and my little friends are going to like it and I'll like all their little things. And I'm going to go to this little Christmas event and I get to be a calendar girl. I've never been a calendar girl before. That's a major goal. And you made that happen for me. A dream come true. I love it. I love it so much.
I didn't say it in the beginning. Krystal is Miss July in the pinned calendar. I forgot to say it. I don't know why. I look at these calendars every day and I sell them, and I don't know why. But yeah, Krystal is Miss July, and I was so happy when she applied. Amazing. I met you at one of the brunches. You came to one. And I thought you were so amazing when I first met. So I was so happy that you applied.
Oh my God. I'm so happy that I got to be part of it.
But I'm really happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that people are feeling like they're united, even though they're not, because I do get the pressure of some people that want to meet up and do things, but I don't think it's the right time. And I know I've been judged for it, but I'd rather wait than be sorry. So
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think it's better to be safe than sorry in a very literal way. And for me, it's enough. It's enough to just see the posts and get to do the Secret Santa and see you do your hair. By the way, it's so creepy. I've spent a couple of, I think, Sundays just trying to like do my wet set with you. Or you posted on, I think it's like Rockabilly
Q.
Yes. And I've loved it. I've loved it so much. It's made this really art, whether it's, hi, this is how I style my beautiful hair and look at this like historic interpretation of an outfit in the modern day or whatever it may be. Or, hi, I wrote a random song. Do you want to hear it? Everybody creating is what's keeping us human, if that makes any sense, instead of us
Yeah.
separating from each other and falling into our little holes, because it's so easy. I've lost months in total of this year, just like being sad and watching TV, like
Mm.
kind of just giving into the weeks. So like, I'll lose a week of, oh no, and then I'll be like, I need to make something. I'll make something. And I feel like you're the same. You're constantly trying to find ways to create.
Yeah.
It's so inspirational.
Right now I'm working on 3 dresses because this year I've really gone really creative on dresses. So
What dresses are you working on?
I am working on the first dress that it's going to be the last one I finish is going to be for Christmas. I'm making a dress completely out of paper. I saw one on TikTok, a couple of them, and nobody made it wearable. It was all on a mannequin. So I said, I'm going to make a wearable, not wallpaper, wrapping paper dress. And that should be fun.
Oh my gosh.
And then a dress for, and then I want to make like 2 other dresses that are Christmas themed. Just with one with, I forgot what the red Christmas flower is called. My gosh, I forgot. And,
oh my God, me too. I also forgot. Like, what is that? My grandma loves those.
I love it because when I was little, I used to love breaking them and seeing the white stuff come out. It was fun.
It's like aloe vera.
And then another dress is, I want to embroider like I did. Yeah, I want to make a dress with embroidered ornaments on it because a lot of people liked my embroidered zoo dress that I made with embroidered birds. So I'm working on those 3. Hopefully before Christmas, they'll all be done just because I wanted to, push myself. And it helps me escape. Like sewing this year has really helped me escape and not think about anything.
Well, it's like, I feel like through art, like you're acknowledging there's a problem and you're also fixing it instantly by making something. So like you're literally working on 3, we are so close to Christmas and you're telling me you're working on 3 dresses. Your Hispanic heritage dress was so amazing, by the way. I was like, how is this woman making this? How is she making this? Because I can't sew for, I won't say any bad words, but like I can't sew. Nope. Big nope on that. I can embarrass myself and write songs, but and I've been learning 60s cocktails, but I cannot sew.
The Hispanic heritage dress was amazing because I wanted something. I've never seen anything glamorous done for Hispanic Heritage Month. Well, I haven't seen it. So I wanted to make a gown that was inspired by like a flamenco dancer. And then I wanted to hand paint all the flags on it. And it took a while, but that one was really interesting.
No, you did. Well, my reaction was I freaking loved it. So screw them.
Yes. I learned a lot that this year. Just do what makes you happy, and that really helps with your mental health as well.
Yeah, man.
It's like
even if it scares you, exactly. Even if it's something kind of scary, just do it. Just do it. I finally started believing that like really no one cares. Like I started thinking like things that really mattered to me a couple years ago. I can't really remember what I was mad about or what people were mad about. It doesn't matter. Do what you want, I guess, is my latest motto. I've gained all this confidence. I've always carried myself very small, and I think I still do. But this year, surprisingly, it's been weirdly, there have been blessings in here of some kind of like, oh, I'm taking ownership over who I am. Like, yeah, I could do this just like you are. Like, you're creating like crazy, and it's because you have the time, 1. But number 2, it's because you can. Like, were you making this many dresses last year? Maybe you were, but to whip out 3 dresses right before Christmas, like, damn girl, you know what I mean? Like, I really feel that's that's 2020 pushing you. So there are benefits to this poopy caca year,
I hope one day I was just thinking, and I also been dreaming a lot. Like, I'm like, oh, maybe if I get really good at designing my own, like create like something for a movie.
Oh my God. You should look into it. Like, all it takes is a quick Google search to look up like stuff in Atlanta that's happening. And if they need any like costume designers, like for theater, constantly people need people to help sew. So they'll do the design, but then eventually you end up being the person that designs. That could be you. It could literally be you. Like, how amazing would that be? I also like, surprisingly, as much as this year has like kicked my butt and made me feel like a lot of things got in the way. Like I joined the union and lost a bunch of contracts at the same moment because of 2020. And then at the same time, I'm finding myself, like you were saying, dreaming so much more. It's that like kind of fearlessness because it's like, can't get any worse than this. So, yeah. So since it can't get any worse than this, it's like, well, okay, what if this or that? And I'm finding like, this is dumb. I'm just going to talk about it. But like, I had this massive insecurity that like I wasn't pretty enough to do film or whatever. And then all of a sudden I started auditioning for it. And I was like, oh, look at me. During a pandemic, I booked like 4 things and it felt nice. And it was like, oh, if during a pandemic I do it, maybe I can incorporate this. It doesn't just have to be theater. And, a lot of the time I'm my own worst enemy. And I feel like that's the case for a lot of people. And now I'm learning, whatever, even if I am, I'm aware that I am. And then I can try not to be number 1. And number 2, I can be like, okay, sure, I may suck at this or I may think that I suck at this, but what if? And then I'll dream about it. And that's my favorite part because it's like, now what's going to happen in 2021? I want to make an album and I want to do my one-woman show, even if it's on Zoom. You know what I mean? Like I'm dreaming little dreams, but I don't think I would have even let myself dream them February. I'm doing it now.
Yeah, no, I understand. Like Rockabilly Q, for example, I hosted their pinup contest in Florida, and that was one of the events. I was supposed to fly out to Charleston to host, but that didn't happen. So I'll do Saturday lives.
Oh,
how about? Sunday lives. That's how I came. So I was like, okay, now I'll do that because I love that project and I want to make sure they remember me. But also, I have big plans on that, and then I have other things because my dream has always been to host in other cities or travel with teaching the hands-on classes that I do. And I had so many more, but now I with these lives, I'm able to connect it and create new connections and people more awareness of myself and just spread positivity. Because even when you're telling me that you're listening and watching and doing it with me, that really means a lot because that's what I want. I want people to feel like they could do it themselves. And that's why doing it live, it's like you're seeing it in real time because YouTube and people are doing it like, oh, here, and then skip to the end. I'm like, whoa, what did you do?
Exactly. Well, that's crazy. Been my biggest thing. And there's a lot of like, I don't want to say amateur videos, but they are. Like, there's a lot of videos where I'm like, I want to learn how to do a victory roll. And then what do I see? No one's telling me where I'm supposed to tease or if I'm teasing. They're just like running through steps. Like they put it in like a fast forward and they're like, and then you hairspray. This is the hairspray I'm using. I'm like, what the heck did you just do though? You didn't show me how to do it. You just promoted the hairspray at me, So I love what you do. It's so great. Oh, what a great community we have down here. Honestly, it's so lovely. I love my little pinup community. Oh, everybody's so cute. It's just, I had this hobby on my own and was like, I don't know anybody that likes the stuff that I like. And finally, I found like a solid clump of really awesome humans that also like what I like. It's really nice. You did that.
Aw, I'm so happy. And let's see, back to you. We went on a tangent. So I know you wrote your one-woman show. Do you write any other stories or any other plays, screenwriting?
Sometimes, yeah. So what I do is with the company that I'm one of the founders of, New City Players, I actually run an event called New City Players Lab, NCP Lab, where you just write like a 10-minute play. And what that means is it could be like a scene, like a 10-minute scene, or it could be a screenplay, like just a 10-minute short. And we've built this like massive community in that way of people that I look forward to seeing every 2 weeks. And they've become some of my like good friends over this time. So that's been super cool. So yeah, I do write like sometimes it's kind of scary too, but honestly, that community motivates me because I'm the one just hosting it and organizing it with my friend Ernesto. But like, oh, no. Like seeing my friends become more and more prolific because my goal is to make as many of my artist friends multi-hyphenates, which means like you could do multiple things. Like this is a time for you to learn the violin, Missy. This is a time for me to be like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm gonna make my own music, but maybe I can write a play. And I want to brush up on my French because I used to be fluent and I'm not anymore. Like, this is the time, I think. So I'm trying to push that on all my friends too, like spreading that positivity, and it seems to be working. So I have a lot of my acting friends that have tried to write plays and that have written plays. They are playwrights, and I have playwright friends that have started reading the plays and gotten more comfortable, and it's just so fun. It's so fun to see my friends grow while I'm growing. It makes me so happy. It's so silly to talk about, but it makes me so, so happy. So yeah, NCP Lab has definitely been a blessing because that was something that we used to do in person. Mm-hmm. And it was like tricky to get a lot of people and it wouldn't happen as often. And then during this pandemic, when we went virtual, it just like took a shape of like, we need each other. Let's just make work just for the sake of making it. And it's okay if it sucks and it's okay if it's great. Something in there is going to be great. And little by little, people are getting better at what they like to do. And I don't know. I don't think that there's anything that can honestly make me happier. I love to see my friends succeed, and I love it because they push me. I see someone do great, and I'm like, oh, crap, I should try. I try. So
it's a good support system.
It is. It is. It's such a good support system. So man, I don't know where I would be without these like little communities that I've found in this pandemic, because it really has been such a poopy caca year. That's the second time I say poopy caca.
I like that. That's a very Cuban-American. Like, I'm just like you. My family's Cuban and I was born here. So I understand.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to ask you 2 more questions from online. What was the most difficult role that you had?
Oh, the most difficult role I had, okay, I'd say difficult technically because the lines were really, really hard to learn, was Clybourne Park, which is a famous play. It won a Pulitzer Prize. It was in New York, and they did the show. I think it closed, and then they brought it back, right? Basically, or they did it like in one city and then it went to New York. Basically, the cast did the show twice. And they said that they felt like they never really got the lines right, like fully, cleanly, up until the second time that they did the whole show, like the second round of doing the show for months. And I was like, oh my God. It was just so hard because everybody was speaking on top of each other of all these random non sequiturs, talking about their vacations and then talking about politics. And the whole thing is actually about race in America. Like, it was so, so difficult. The first act took place in the 1950s, and it was like a cute sitcom, and I loved it so much. And it was in like a Lucy dress. Oh, it made me so happy. And then the second act was modern day, and I was a sassy lady, very different from the 1950s housewife. So I'd say technically that was the hardest, just because like, wow, that was hard to learn. The whole cast would get together 2 hours before rehearsal to just drill lines, and I've never done that for a play before. And then I feel like challenging, like performance-wise, the hardest role I've ever done, which is also one I'm like weirdly very proud of, is there's this play called The Glass Menagerie, and by Tennessee Williams, and I played Laura. And she's just like, she's this fragile, beautiful character that's just like wanting to shine her light, and her whole family is sheltering her in. So she doesn't know what her like capability is. She doesn't, and like, I weirdly relate to her so much. I also see a lot of my mom in her. So it was just like a super personal piece, but it was just hard because I had to dive into this nasty place and really find it and let myself be almost like too vulnerable, like really just exposing myself emotionally, not physically, guys. I wasn't naked, but to everyone. And it ended up being really beautiful. I think definitely, my favorite role aside from Molly and Peter and the Starcatcher, because I love Peter Pan so much because I'm 5 years old. But yeah, so those I would say. Also, how cool that you had people like send in questions. That makes me so happy. Cool.
Yeah. I have one more.
Hit me with it.
What is your dream role?
Oh, my dream role. Okay.
Maybe Scarlett O'Hara and Gone with the Wind.
The drama. No, my oh boy. So my dream role as the person that I am right now, like the age that I'm aging out of in a couple of years, would be Abigail in The Crucible, which is what I base the song Dear John on. I just love really complicated characters. I love people that are not 100% good, but they are good. You know what I mean? Like, they're more good than bad if you really think about it, but they show their kind of horrible sides. Just because I feel like that's everyone. Nobody can be 100% great. And to acknowledge that and learn from it is so important. So those are the lessons I like to teach, I guess. I love coming of age stories too, which is why I love Laura. But yeah, so I digress. Dream role right now would be Abigail Williams in The Crucible. Dream role also right now, but I could definitely do it in 10 years, I think, and I'd still be good, is Maggie the Cat in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. All these little vintagey ladies. Yes. And then when I am older, dream role would be Blanche in Streetcar. All these women are so complicated. But I love them. I love them. I live for it. I live for the drama. Yep. Those were such great questions. Thank you. Aw.
Yes. Hi, Krystal. Make sure you follow Krystal at Krystal Millie. I'll put all her info down below. Her website, krystalmillievaldez.com.
That's me.
I want to say thank you, Krystal, for coming on to the podcast. I can't wait to see all the music. You have an album coming up next year.
Yeah, Honey Girl.
Honey Girl. And I can't wait to see that because I'm really loving everything that you put out, the videos. Hopefully one day I'll make a little cameo on one of them.
Oh my God, yes, please. I want to do a vintage video so bad. I wrote a song called Sabor de Miel, and I want just a bunch of vintage ladies with cars. And I'm like, how do I pull this off?
I got you.
Yay!
And do you have anything else that you want to tell the listeners or ask me?
I mean, I want to tell you once again, just thank you for keeping me driven and happy during this time, just by giving me an outlet through our community, because again, it was something I felt very lonely on, and it was so lovely to be like, oh my gosh, there's really kind human beings that like the same thing, that are in my area, that can gush about oh, look at this beautiful dress from White Christmas, and then we're all looking at the sisters' blue dresses, just gawking at them. And that just makes me so happy. I never had that in my life. Or I have 15 berets. And I found someone last week that was me too. What? That's ridiculous. That was something I personally thought was ridiculous about me. And I'm I'm not alone. So I just want to thank you so much.
And there's a girl down here that makes berets.
Tell me who she is. Send me her information. Make her my friend.
She was in the calendar last year.
Oh, I wonder what month she was. I'll look. But yeah, thank you for having me. And I don't know, I'll keep creating, and hopefully people listen to my little things. And
well, on Spotify. I'll put her Spotify in the description below.
Oh, thank you.
And next week, I have, it's going to be me, and I'm bringing back Vivian from Arteluna Miami. We're just going to chat about this year. Since it's going to be the last episode of the year, we're just going to chat about all the events, the ups, the downs, talk about guests that have been on the podcast. And the beginning of everything was this year with the podcast. So I'm excited for our last episode next week. And this one, I hope to wish you all a Merry Christmas. And stay blessed with your family. Stay safe. And just remember that I love you all. And I really do appreciate the best gift that you're giving me right now is listening in. And I appreciate it. I will see you all next week. And have a wonderful day.
Happy holidays.